see what's going to happen in New York City because there's talk about taxing the rich. Taxing the rich. Let's talk about it.
It has been tried before. At the onset of World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt proposed capping Americans' post-tax income at $25,000 or $50,000 for couples, about $1 million today. Congress set the top marginal rate at 94% in 1944 and 1945 and required the paycheck withholding system still in use today. Today, taxes on wealth, as opposed to income, form the core of anti-billionaire crusaders' plans to eliminate the largest fortunes. When running for president in 2020, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders proposed a graduated tax on wealth over $32 million that capped out at a rate of 8% on anything over $10 billion, claiming that it would, quote, cut the wealth of billionaires in half over 15 years. Such a tax would cost the world's richest person, Elon Musk, over $30 billion in the first year, and, even assuming zero growth in his fortune, would take nearly 20 years to just get his wealth below $100 billion. He would likely
Wow. Well, too bad that's not happening.
be forced to annually sell an enormous number of Tesla shares to cover the annual payments. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren's 2020 plan would have taxed wealth over $50 million at 2% and wealth over $1 billion at 6%. She, alongside Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal and Pennsylvania Representative Brendan Boyle, have reintroduced her so-called ultra-millionaires tax, a similar policy that tops out at 3%, in Congress. Jayapal, who chairs the House Progressive Caucus, tells Forbes that she largely agrees with Mamdani's idea. She says, quote, I suppose if there was a scenario in which you could have a couple of billionaires, but everyone else was doing extremely well, that might be one thing. But it seems that the way our tax policies focus, billionaires become billionaires at the expense of everyone else. Of course, you need to put the IRS on steroids to make this sort of wealth tax work.
Oh, yeah. No. The Biden-Harris administration did that, but they did so to go after regular people.
And police the wealthy from moving their money offshore. The US would also have to implement an exit tax and negotiate complex tax treaties with other countries. Chuck Collins, who studies inequality at the left-wing Institute for Policy Studies and co-edits a website called inequality.org, says, quote, there would always be the Cook Islands and a few places like that that would try to be outside that system. But the reality is, most of those countries want to participate in a global economy. And so you can say, well, yeah, you need to sign on to a global tax regime.
Yes, but that global tax regime is only going to probably tax regular people.
Mamdani, it seems, isn't looking to tax all the billionaires in New York to oblivion. His plans for revenue include increasing New York's top corporate tax rate from 7.25% to 11.5%, in line with New Jersey, and adding a 2% surcharge to personal income over $1 million. That's hardly enough to vaporize anyone's wealth. But to get even that, he'll need New York Governor Kathy Hochul's buy-in, already a long shot. For full coverage, check out Kyle Kahn Mullins and Lily Ogburn's piece on Forbes.com.
Now, here's why, unfortunately, we're going to be in an era in which taxing the rich may not happen. Because, of course, the Democrats are all swarming around Zohran Mamdani. Now, the thing is, New York City, like Chicago, they're pushing out generational families. And I don't know what the future holds for a lot of us living in these major metropolitan cities. Perhaps they want to push us out to the countryside, into the wastelands, while they build these heavily walled cities that are only for the affluentially rich or those that are connected to the system, never to challenge anything or wake up. Now, in theory, all of this sounds good. But see, the thing is, you need a political movement and those in power that will actually follow through with it. Now, yeah, I will not dismiss the fact that Zohran Mamdani's win is a huge win, especially over Cuomo. Why I'm critical of this is that when you see Democratic establishment leaders swarm around him, I'm wondering, what is he compromising on? What will they hold over him to prevent him from doing what he wants? What power will they have over him? Because that's the problem. That is the issue. That is the thing that should keep all of you up at night. wondering, okay, well, what won't he do? What won't he do now? Because now that the primary is over, he's got to get the leadership. He's got to get the Democratic Party behind him. And as it stands right now, because the Democratic Party has trained its followers that once a primary is over, everybody flocks around the winner. Yeah, they're flocking around him, but what are they demanding in turn? What is he compromising on? You see, this is why you cannot be part of the two-party system. I mean, we can all believe that, yeah, you could reform something, but both parties are corrupt. Both parties have individuals that are owned, or either that are speaking for the corporate donors, who in turn donate to everyone at the federal, state, county, city level. This is not how you create a functioning society, because right now the rich control everything. Now, are there attempts to make sure there's a fair tax? Yeah, probably. But the thing is, you need to have more follow through. With the Republicans in the Senate and House, they're never going to allow that, and including the Democrats too, because when the Democrats had the chance, when they had at least power in the House and Senate from the Obama years and even during the Biden administration, they never acted on changing anything. They made sure nothing would fundamentally change, and nothing did. So are you not surprised by the pain? I'm not. And while I do hold out for hope for maybe Mamdani to actually be a fighter, to actually challenge things, some of the messages I'm getting from some of my New York contacts, it's a little questionable. It's a little questionable, because you got, for example, pictures of Richie Torres with Zohran Mamdani. Now I get it. Hey, the party's got to be together. The party's got to always stand together. But if they're always going to stand together, tell me, when will there be a challenge within? I mean, there's Richie Torres, there's Zohran Mamdani, there's everyone else. I mean, it all sounds good on paper. Everything they're saying sounds good on paper, but follow through is key. Can we get some follow through, please, with the cherry on top? Probably not. Probably not. We don't get that. We're never going to get that. No real accountability. At all. So there you go.